Greetings and warm welcome, dear audience, to our SCG forum today. For the intro, I will pass to Dr. Anjum to start the session. Hi, Dr. Rania.
I'm here. I can do the
Okay.
opening.
You want to do the okay? Okay, you
Yes,
do the
yes,
opening.
fine. Okay.
Great. Good. Thank you.
Warm greetings to everyone, dear all audience around the world, parents, educators, and students. Welcome to the Real Talk with Experts, hosted by Professor Dr. Anjum Kuresi and me, Professor Rania Lampu. I'm Professor Rania Lampu, advisor at Elegant Epar Education. I'm a STEM instructor, researcher, author. I'm working at the Greek Ministry of Education and the Greek Astronomy Space Company. Welcome again to our Sustainable Development Goals Journey towards 2030. And this forum is powered by Elegant Epar Education Malaysia, a prestigious educational-based organization which focuses on quality education for all, regardless race, country, and religion. Our idealistic and visionary founder, Ambassador Professor Esther Malla, focuses on upholding a quality education that develops individuals from all walks of life to their potential, which ignites curiosity, enriches knowledge, and nurtures personal and professional growth. Her vision matches with the mission of Elegant Epar Education as it curates a diverse range of online summits, workshops, webinars, and training sessions led by experts and outstanding leaders from various fields. Elegant Epar Education creates an inclusive and supportive environment, and by harnessing the power of technology and innovation, and through this platform, we aim to collaboratively organize educational events that will enhance knowledge dissemination, skill development, and fostering a lifelong learning global community. Elegant Epar Education strictly follows the slogan, Quality Education for All. Today, our topic is, I think, very, very interesting. Recently, I have been reading a lot of studies about this. It's about the environmental impact of artificial intelligence, which is actually an emerging area of concern as the technology continues to advance and proliferate across various sectors. While AI has the potential to drive positive change, of course, in fields like healthcare or education, transportation, climate modeling, its development and deployment also carry significant environmental costs. So today we have an expert with us, a very good friend, Dr. Alan Custodio from Philippines. And now the floor is given to Professor Dr. Anjum Kuresi to continue, to start this discussion.
Thank you, Dr. Rania. Welcome, Dr. Esther, Dr. Rania, and our esteemed panelists today, Honorable Mr. Alan Custodio. He is an educator, an IT enthusiastic, and international speaker. So today we are getting back with a very interesting topic. As you know, that every week we have been discussing about SDGs. So today we are we would like to discuss about how AI is it is having an impact on the environment, because we know that with the emergence of artificial intelligence and its progressively wider impact on many sectors, it requires an assessment to its effect of the achievement of the sustainable development goals. And using a consensus based expert elicitation process, it has been known that AI can enable the accomplishment of 134 targets across all the goals, but it may also inhibit 59 targets. However, current research may sometimes even overlook the important aspects. The fast development of AI needs to be supported by the necessary regulatory insight and oversight for AI-based technologies to enable sustainable development. So today, let's discuss about how AI is having an impact. So once again, I welcome our panelists, and now I would like to ask the first question. As we are talking about environmental impact, so how will AI help to save the planet?
Okay, thank you, Ma'am Dr. Anjum, Dr. Rania, and Dr. Esther for the opportunity. So the question is how to save the planet with the AI or artificial intelligence. So nowadays, AI will be more demanding in any kinds of technology. I think the AI and the IoT, these two, because IoT, it is incorporated in any kind of example like smartwatches, and then it will, if this kind of technology, the IoT, Internet of Things, will be combined in the artificial intelligence, I think it will become unhelpful to our helpful to our health community and other resources. Example, I have example, if you have a farm and then you can incorporate AI or IoT, smart farming, the relative humidity can detect the plants, can detect the efficiency of growing resources in agriculture. Another thing is the wildlife. The real time analytics of AI can detect the future extinction of this animal because of the data that they gather in the IoT from the camera and the in the cloud system. uh, it will pass to the detection of AI. The analysis will become in AI in the combination of decision of the human. I think it will become a good way to preserve our extinction in wildlife. And I think it will become in education. It is very useful because if you know the AI, ma'am, I have a friend in Europe and America. This is the HR said in my friend. It is not about today the computer literacy. It is about AI literacy, the additional of AI literacy. If you do not know the AI literate or AI literacy, you will left behind. If you know only the Microsoft Word, the PowerPoint, just alone, you are left behind. You now definitely it is a must to know the AI. In just one click, you have a report. But I think no, the decision, the final decision, the ethical use, the biggest decision, the responsibility, the credit, I think it will become another topic. But I think it is a must to know AI because if you know I think your personality or your productivity in work in any kind of situation will become rise or higher than the normal person that didn't know the AI. And this is one the answer, ma'am, in number one.
Thank you. It was really a wonderful answer because yes, of course, AI is having an impact. In fact, not this environment if at all, but it has left a great impact on our lives. Can we just have the slides, please? Yeah. So if we like to talk about what all applications, in fact, if you see the applications of AI are increasing. Here I have just mentioned a few of them like healthcare, automobile, finance, surveillance, and then gaming, robotics, agriculture. So everywhere AI is being extensively being used. And like we were talking about how AI is helping the environment because it helps in with the help of the interconnected devices and with the help of the different kind of algorithms it has. So yes, it was helping in environmental monitoring and in also monitoring the water quality and all. But there is one more thing that I would like to know here because that these are all the positive side that we see of the AI and how it is impacting the environment. But everywhere, if we see, there are positive side as well as a negative side. So, are there any negative sides of this or any negative impacts of AI on the environment?
Okay, ma'am, thank you for the question. So there are, if there are negative impact of AI, for me, ma'am, all of the information that used to use in AI or incorporate generative by AI, it is good. It is depend upon how you use the AI. But the biggest impact or the negative impact, I think, of AI, when what the technology is high, the waste is also high. Because, ma'am, AI uses GPUs, different kinds of highest technology right now that consume different nitrogen oxide, carbon dioxide, different kinds of in machine that produce heat that can cause our greenhouse effect to become worsen and worsen. So I think one of the solution, I propose some solution in relatively in the a company of different kind like Google, Microsoft or what, I think it will become good if it is near in the forest because I think the carbon emission will have much more not to go in air. It will be trapped in the lowland and it will become food, carbon dioxide in the trees, in the plants. So isolating this big company in without a nature health, I think the biggest problem now is the electronic waste that using of use of AI. Nowadays, the biggest electronic waste is coming, ma'am, from AI. The different kinds of manufacturing, the AI system, the electronic, the new chip, new different kinds of parts of computer that can use AI. This one, ma'am, the electronic waste is the biggest problem, and I think we match it by using tree planting, different kinds of nature caring for reducing this electronic waste usage in AI, ma'am.
Yes, because e-waste that is being generated into AI, it has become the biggest problem because even the materials that are being used to manufacture, that some of the chips that we always need, so even they are harmful. And when we dispose this off, so this will cause harmful emissions into the environment. Can we have the next slide? So it will harm the environment. And moreover, this e-waste is also increasing because as the technology is advancing, like in the last slide, in this slide, we saw there are a number of applications that we have. And when we develop an application, so we always want it to work it better. So to work it better, the resources keep on having new devices that will be fast and that will be able to overcome the drawbacks that they saw in the previous application. So in this way, what happens is that some of the devices that we are currently using, it becomes obsolete after just a few months. So they are of no use. We cannot recycle it. We cannot reuse it. So really, it is becoming a problem. And nextly, if we talk about like coming to the main topic that we are discussing over here, like how AI is related to the SDGs, especially how it will be related to the environment. Because as AI, we say that it may be able to achieve all the 17 sustainable goals. There may be some potential downside, but the overall impact of AI on SDGs is overwhelming positive with significant benefits for the development of low carbon sources of energy and efficiency. So here, I would just like to ask my next question, like how we will be using AI to create pathways for sustainable development.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. The SDG in AI. For me, this is one of the hot topic in SDG, the AI, because I think the incorporation of technology in the use of AI in SDG is new this day in the generation of C and generation Alpha and so on. So I think, ma'am, there is a word today that said the city is decay. The city is decay. Because the city is decay because of the technology. There are more waste coming from the different plant, nuclear plant, etc. and so on. For me, AI is one of the best analysts today. For me, not only a simple data that can AI use. In a smart city, example, ma'am, in here in the Philippines, there is a Baguio City. If you know the Baguio City is very cold. The mayor of it say that city is decay. So the mayor come up with the Department of the Science and Technology and uses the AI technology to measure what is the humidity, the carbon dioxide in the air using artificial intelligence. And after knowing this kind of a result, in maybe 30 years or 40 years, the city will become a bus of waste. So they see because of the AI. And I think AI can solve the different kinds of problem in terms of decision making. It can help sustain what is to be sustained. But in sacrificing of that, they use a lot of ways. So they are incorporated in the activity here in the Philippines. The if we use AI in the different kinds of activities, they are counterpart in tree planting, like what I said, ma'am. But the logistic and the prominent or the closest accurate decision in terms of preserving the city, the different kinds of city of because of the decay, is the AI can generate what is the closest and the maximum accurate decision from the humidity of the carbon dioxide, nitrogen, the carbon monoxide, the different kinds of we can inhale in the environment. AI can detect how can this go far and how can we clean the air. I think this logistic can help different kinds of city, because I think some of the place in the earth are not touching in any kind of ways, and we can use AI. What is the environmental geographical uh, uh, what do you think this word, the geographical design that can we use in imitate in those city, or how can incorporate some design that the air is very fresh that can we incorporate into the city, and AI can have different kinds of uh, uh, what they said, answer or solution that we can copy on that. And I think decision in combination of human and AI is very much powerful, and if we'll cooperate with the use of right technology, right preparation or process, I think we can do some unimaginable solution with AI technology right now.
Because, as rightly said by you, we need to develop the technology and we need to use the technology wisely. And of course, we need to have more research on it so that the technology doesn't harm us and us able to achieve it, especially when we talk about so much about sustainability and SDGs. I think we have our next slide. So, can we have the next slide? Yes. So one more term that we discuss nowadays is the circular economy. Because if we talk about a circular economy, we know that it is a system where the products and materials are reused, repaired, and recycled to reduce waste and lessen the impact on the environment of the society. So we are nowhere earlier when we talked about union economy, where of a commodity it was just produced and then it was dumped into waste when it was of no use. But nowadays, the people have started thinking that in order to reduce waste, one of the most important steps is to actually have a product that can be used for a longer period, and also it will be able to follow the four principles of circular economy, like reduce, reuse, recycle, and recover. So we are concentrating on producing more durable products that are easier to repair and or recycle. So in fact, it even opens up new business opportunities, and it also fosters with innovation. And the circular economy, it will bring together environmental, economic, and social factors to build a more sustainable world. So, as we are talking about AI, so how we can use AI for, or how we can deploy AI for circular economy?
Okay, ma'am, the circular economy. I think the circular economy, this economy is intended for using some different ways. So in AI can detect how can this recycle material can use in more than a years, decade, or 100 years ago. Because waste like a plastic, ma'am, 100 years ago, because before decaying the plastic. So AI can detect the different kinds of renewable resources, or example, a bottle, ma'am. A bottle, AI can some sort, or can have a 3D printing, or recycle in what another form of this plastic that can be used in reuse and reuse. And this form is said to be this in generation, it is called by a loop system, wherein the recycle material, it can be used and used and used and used, and it is not dig in the uh, uh, in soil. It is used by use and by use, because in land, in water, there is a plastic. In AI, in such an unimaginable different kinds of output of product that cannot comprehend by human a level, AI can turn our ideas, the different kinds of resource, or the different kinds of waste, into another level of resource materials that can we use in different home. And the accuracy, or the the step or the process of AI is very for me, it is close to 99 or 98 to 99% that the this process of recycling a new material will be come as successful. And there a step in guide. It depends upon how the powerful AI can detect how can recycle this kind of plastic more and more. It is the loop system. I think in the first class country, it is used the loop system, that plastic can reuse and reuse and reuse, that they can are not throwing in the garbage, because they can reuse and reuse. Some of the places are buying this different bottle and then exchanging for a penny or a price, and then the company, they reuse and reuse and sell and sell and sell. But the in the long run, they are not I think it is good. But for me, the counterpart of recycling is uh I think, if you recycle a bottle, there is always a waste, or a carbon dioxide. So for me, if the company are settling in recycling, the for me, if I have a lawmaker, if they recycle anything in their company, they have to back in the environment, one tree or two trees, or a tree planting. If we can, because of the emission of the gases that coming from the plant, that they are recycling plastic, recycling this aluminum, recycling this metal, all of these are have a high sulfur and carbon monoxide. And I think AI can help to generate different tangible, intangible products that can recycle and recycle. But uh, in those, I see, ma'am, in a 30 years, so many plastic in the earth, so many waste, that I cannot say that AI can having a solid solution. But for me, AI can help this, can help to prevent what is what I can see, and the people is also the final decision of this biggest SDG in our humanity. But AI, for now, I think can help to generate different kinds of proactive, retroactive recycling material from the recycled material that can affect to the land and air, sea. We can use it to not dig and dig. We can use in another product that we can use in our home to save the different kinds of life in seas and in our land.
Yeah, really, that was a very wonderful answer because yes, AI, it will help when we talk about SDGs, when we try to link AI to how we will be achieving SDGs and how we will be having a circular economy. Of course, it calls for a lot of innovation, and the AI can surely help in having better commodities like that we could recycle and reuse, and it will also facilitate the functioning of a circular business model, and it will also help to enhance the existing frameworks to assure the availability of circular products and models. But at the same time, if we're talking about environment, so when we go through all these things, so I think there will be some kind of impact even on the existing environmental policies, because environmental policies are in fact the guidelines that are helping towards conservation of environment, and at the same time it should ensure that it does not it also tries to preserve the interest of the stakeholders, and also the input that are coming from the environmentalists to development professionals. In fact, we have to satisfy everyone. So if we talk about this environmental policies and regulations, and if there are some changes to be caused with the help of this AI or how the AI is working. So I just want to have one last question for you, like how will the use of AI it will have an impact on the environmental policies and regulation?
Okay, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. In policy making, using AI in a policy maker, ma'am, I think, in my opinion, the most accurate and the fastest way to see the trends, to see what is the future can be, and what the law can be in the future, is in the use of AI. But we cannot say that is 100%, but because they are not perfect. But if you incorporate what is the data analytics that can uh, uh, use in AI, and what are those data all coming from the different places, in coming from the world, just put in the engine of AI, and what is the policy that can make in the future of 2023, because of all of the data, Philippines, Europe, America, all of the world, AI can use to say what is the most critical, what is the most resourceful country, what is, and etc. so on. And we can base on the data, because nowadays data is the most for me accurate when coming decision. Saying opinion in a critical problem, like now, like in a problem in our waste management and the different kinds of waste management. If you ask the AI which country is the most cleanest in Asia, one of the answer is the Singapore. And what is the practice of the Singapore? AI will answer that based on the Singapore law, and we can, I think we can copy on that. We can copy, we can say that we can a different partnership in a different country, different places. We can use that. We can use the strategy of Singapore. We can use the different kind. And reversely, if you ask the AI which country is the most waste, and AI will tell you the answer, and what are the those wrong practices in that place. I cannot say that it is 100%, but AI decide because of the database that they have or it have. So I think AI in critical decisioning, or in a past problem that are growing today in education, in any kinds of problem, if we incorporate some AI, but it is not the final decision, ma'am. It is not the final decision, because we are human. We can think, we can have an empathy, we have a sensitivity. So I think combination of policy with the AI is considerable to craft a human and an AI intelligence for our future. For me, it is much considerate if we are the policymaker, we can use AI for some guide. But the total crafting of the policy, it will be on a human final decision. Because AI sometimes is biased. I think you know, ma'am, that some AI are not in, because the database of this AI is in the because of this place is good, because the AI is coming from Germany, the AI is coming from the America. So I think it is only a guide, but I think it is accurate, but we cannot say it is 100%. A combination of a human brain and an AI, it is such a perfect thing to have a policy uh, making in the different kinds of concern problem
Yeah.
right now, ma'am.
Yeah, so
Yes.
Ellen, I would like to share a joke. I think Dr. Rania and Dr. Anjum is aware of this joke. Uh, artificial intelligence is not only like not accurate sometimes. It also goes crazy sometimes. Like, they mentioned, there was a guy who's trying to make some dish. I think pizza using cheese, and suddenly he realized he don't have cheese. So what he did, he asked the AI. I don't know whether he used ChatGPT or what. I cannot remember, but I can remember the joke well. He asked he put the text there and said, "Okay, I don't have cheese. What shall I substitute? You know, what the AI answered? Glue, glue. You see, so everything we still need to verify. We don't just take from AI and just produce, right or not, Sarah? We have to read through, we have to check, verify. Yeah. So we still have to study. We cannot rely totally on AI. Yes, AI can do wonders, but certain things, I think, like we as educators, whatever material we pass on to the students, and you know we produce for some purpose, so we got to also verify it. Otherwise we will get glue for a cheese to replace cheese. Okay, carry on. Are we Dr. Anjum, if we finish the questions, we can pass to Dr. Rania to conclude. Are you done?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm done. Actually, it was really a very good discussion, and of course, we cannot always rely on AI.
Yeah.
Because AI, the algorithms that are designed by the humans, and it works on how the database is provided to it. It depends on the database that is provided to the by developing the algorithms, and it works only according to that. It cannot come out of the box like we think out of the box sometimes something. So that is not always possible with AI, and as you said, it can sometimes even provide wrong information.
Yeah, you
So
put
that
in garbage, you get garbage. You put in
yes,
garbage, you get garbage. So
it works how it is programmed actually. So yes, now it was really great talking to you and discussing about AI and its environmental impacts, Mr. Allen. So and now again the forum is open for discussion. So I hand over the session to Dr. Rania. If she can
yeah, thank you, Sir Ellen. Thank you for this amazing session. Okay, now your good friend is here to, I don't know whether
Yes.
she wants to
Actually, I want to share. I was reading some studies recently, which say that when we train training AI models, we can consume as much energy as the average of a household in several years. And ChatGPT, for example, generates 8 tons of carbon dioxide annually, double an average person's output. So I was really shocked about this. And as Dr. Alan said, why this is happening? Because when we develop large AI models, especially deep learning algorithms, this requires, of course, computational resources, and this consumes huge amounts of electricity. So we can consume thousands of megawatt hours of electricity. We can emit hundreds of tons of carbon. So this leads to high carbon emissions, particularly if the energy source is fossil fuel based. And something else that we haven't mentioned today, it's about data centers. That AI operations are supported by vast data centers, which actually run 24 hours every day, per day. So these centers consume massive amounts also of energy for both computing and cooling. A cooling system is another issue. because they say that the data centers require the cooling systems to maintain optimal operating temperature, but this causes a problem of water because some cooling solutions use vast amounts of water, and this leads to significant water consumption, which can be problematic, of course, in water scarce regions. Dr. Alan mentioned also, of course, about toxic materials, because many electronic components contain hazardous materials like mercury, cadmium. And let's not forget about the rare earth metals, because AI hardware and these processors and the components, they have usually rare earth materials and minerals. So mining these resources can lead to habitat destruction, soil erosion, and water pollution, of course. And the life cycle emissions, because beyond energy consumption, the entire life cycle of AI hardware contributes to greenhouse gas emissions. And let's not forget also the supply chain impact, because the extraction and processing of these materials often occur in countries with lax environmental regulations. And this, of course, exacerbates ecological damage. So, Dr. Alan, what do you think? Can we escape all these problems? Okay, we have a ChatGPT, we have AI, but if this causes so many environmental distractions, how we can mitigate this practically? Is this possible to mitigate? Or we are heading towards environmental destruction more and more because of AI?
Hello, ma'am. I think this question is very hard because I think it because the technology nowadays is more and more in developing, unlike the one that is solution, the nature is erratic, and it is not good in matching what are the solution right now to the technology in the ways right now, in like Ma'am Maranya said, the cooling system, the waste of the cooling system will back on the ocean, and then the waste will become pertinent in the different kinds of species in the ocean or in the lakes, and then will become a serious problem in our mga in our fishermen. So I think Pomerania,
Yes, if we use
quite,
so much water in order to make cooling systems function, what will happen with the humans? Already here in Greece, we have this summer a huge problem with water shortage because there are no rainfalls at all. So most of the Greek islands are in an emergency situation about water. So if we have AI systems which actually consume so much vast electricity and both water, I don't think that this is a positive aspect. I don't know, positive impact of AI.
yes, this is a negative impact, but this is, ma'am, I think the solution. We in I think that one of the best solution is we go back into the basic solution in every living things and non-living things, and this is, ma'am, the nature. It will become, it will the nature will have a stronger and I think renew, not, I said in the dinosaur era, what is the nature is, it is not that close to be what to this era, but it will have, I think, if we use technology, we have to care the nature, and I think the progress of, I think in more years, ma'am. So I think the movie in Mercury in Venus, we will have to move in, move out there, and I think, ma'am, this is not it is my imagination, and I think I can be wrong, I can be right. But for me, it to if we have to care the earth, the only solution in any kind of problem in earth, in my opinion, is to care the nature. It is the most, I think, the most solution in any kind of ways, because if I if different kinds of ways, it the trees, ma'am, and the plants are evolving right now. They are consuming some of waste that are waste in the different kinds of environment, but it is not, it is not waste to be, that the waste to be now, because there are more different kinds of waste electronic waste that are more impact because of the new car, new technology, and different kinds of resources, ma'am. But I think the main solution is to care our environment. If we have a simple house, plant a simple plant, a simple tree, and will become the carbon dioxide, the different kinds of harm in our air will have penetrated in the leaves. But it is sad, ma'am. It is sad. In the city, in the urban city, in the different kinds of city in the world, they are very prominent in the successful of technology. But if you go outside in the morning, so much smoke, so much smoke that you have cap already when you passing the different kinds of street, but because there are no trees. In the different countries, in the road, in the middle of the road, they are planting plants, ma'am. I think you can see in the different kinds of road system in the different places, they are planting in the middle of the street different kinds of plants because the emission or the humidity of the air is very high, and the city decay will become on the 10 years or 20 years. They are not can be occupying. They can use only the nebulizer to inhale the fresh air. So I think, ma'am, the main solution is to care our environment, the nature, and the nature will have a healing effect on us in any kind of problem. The nature, because the nature, I think, is one of our um for me, in those back years, there are no medicine. There are only herbal medicine, right, ma'am? Right now, in my childhood, herbal medicine, no AI, no technology. We are surviving this catastrophe of different kinds of sickness because of the herbal. Now,
Yes, very
AI
true.
can produce some different kinds of medicine, but have a effect because of the different kinds of chemical. And I think if we are back in the basic, we will have our generation been spreading in more many years. And I think, yes, ma'am, the nature is one of the my answer for this AI.
Yes, as you mentioned previously, you said how to and we use renewable energy, for example. We power data centers and all these AI operations with renewable energy sources. This can significantly reduce carbon emissions. So you said about how to encourage recycling and proper disposal of electronic devices. That could help also, or develop more energy efficient algorithms. So and hardware, this can lower energy consumption. But I want to share something else now. This week in Greece, especially these last days, we had a huge distractions because of arsons, wildfires. Every year this is happening in Greece, but this year, this summer, for the first time, arsons and wildfires entered Athens, the capital. So many houses were destroyed, and of course, all the ecosystem, animals, plants, everything was destroyed. To talk about the historical, for example, city of Marathon, which is the city of Olympic Games, was completely destroyed in one day. And the paradox is that, of course, this is the case of arson. It's not a simple wildfire caused by climate change. This is something has to do with corruption. But I want to say that our government recently has bought some AI systems about drone, which can actually control real-time data. They can monitor real-time data. So how this happened? How this wildfire destroyed so many cities inside? We're talking about inside the capital, not in remote areas or mountains and things like that. I want to ask actually, how can governments and institutions ensure that AI tools are effectively integrated into existing environmental regulatory frameworks? So how we can actually make sure that take advantage of this real-time monitoring?
Yeah, Professor Rania, we are running out of time. We have masterclass.
Okay, okay. This is the last question.
Sorry.
Yes, ma'am, I can answer shortly what Ma'am Rania Lampo. Okay, thank you, ma'am. Yes, the real-time AI technology right now is very demanding in terms of surveilling, because we are human, we are not uh, we are asleep. We can have a rest, but AI can detect. But like I said, ma'am, some real-time AI can have applause in terms of detecting different kinds of images that can produce a pair, and it is not a perfect. But I think it is good that have a real time. But definitely, like Dr. Esther Marla said, we cannot rely to the monitoring of AI in a real time. We can we can use AI, but there are a human that is for me, that is guarding also. We have an AI and we have a human for me, and it is a substitute in morning and in afternoon for more specific. AI is just an aid for me. It is not 100% that AI will become used in real time. It is just an aid, because we cannot see on the 30 feet and in the sky what is the AI can see, but we can see fully in the ground level what is that right now. I think in the country of this mentioning of Ma'am Rania, I think the manpower is low, because they not but this is my opinion, ma'am. But I think the combination of AI and the combination of surveillance in the real time and the human eye will become more effective in those kinds of critical concern in terms of fire, because I think it is the fire is spreading out because of the trees are dry, the grass is dry. It is a critical, so I think if I am the president or the governor, I will deploy manpower, not only the sky of the real time of the AI. I think that I will deploy more people to prevent this and to have a protection on and any kind of resources of job in a certain place in there in this area.
Okay, thank you so much, Dr. Alan. Now I can do the closing, right, Dr. Estera?
Yes, please proceed.
Yes.
Thank you,
Thank
Sir
you.
Ellen, Dr. Anjum, and Dr. Rania. Please.
Thank you, Dr. Alan, for your wonderful presentation and discussion. And thank you, Professor Dr. Anjum Kuresi, Dr. Esther, all participants. It's my honor to give the closing remarks. The forum will talk with experts. What a joy to organize this forum online and be able to welcome experts and dignitaries in the field of education, which is a good time to collaborate together to enhance the education system globally. I would strongly emphasize that the slogan quality education for all accomplishes the mission and vision of elegant and higher education. Thank you, Dr. Aller, for highlighting important aspects of the topic. Environmental impact of AI. You talked about energy consumption, carbon footprint, e-waste, the ethical considerations, policy regulation. So while AI holds the promise of transforming many aspects of our lives for the better, it is crucial to balance this progress with an awareness of its environmental impact. By adopting more sustainable practices, investing in energy-efficient technologies, and promoting responsible AI development, we can certainly minimize the negative environmental effects while at the same time maximizing the benefits of AI. Before putting this forum into a close, let us give a big applause to Professor Dr. Anjum Kuresi for hosting and moderating this forum with experts. Thank you, our panelists, from Dr. Alan from Philippines for your very informative talk. Heartfelt gratitude to the address to the brilliant audience, to the teachers, the parents, and students who made it here with us today out of your busy schedules. And before I let you go, let us give a big thank you to Ambassador Professor Esther Mala, the visionary founder, the brain and the heart of Elegant Higher Education. We will meet again next week with another SDG. Thank you very much.
Yes, thank you so much, Sir Ellen. Thank you for your insightful sharing. And as usual, you are not a stranger on our platform. You always give us your best. And again, we enjoyed your session today very much. And to my two lovely hosts here, Dr. Anjum and Dr. Rania, thank you for being a great support to all of us. Yeah. Dear audience, thank you for your precious time and support. And after this, we are having a masterclass on robotic and automation by Dr. Kali Charan, Associate Professor from India. Thank you. We shall meet again in next Wednesday with another SDG topic and interesting ones. Thank you.